Hello all. Ananya, can you just reduce the volume? Thank you, Ma. Thank you. Good evening to one and all. Can you hear an echo? Okay, you can't hear. Okay, fine. Request you all to come on video if you can. It's so good to see the community together. So, just welcome to the Poornam, the Conscious Community launch. There's so much to happen in the next 45 minutes. But the first thing that we wish to do is to take the divine grace, is to allow the divine to flow through us. So I'm going to light the lamp. And while I do that, and I'm holding intention for this community, I request you all to hold the same intention. I just offer a silent prayer that the intention that I hold and all of us co-hold, may that flow. So welcome back again to this space. Thank you, Uma. So I think the essence of this community has been in me for ages. And it has been there. And I have always connected to the essence of this community. But I think it's just that it is this time, this day, this space when it came as a time for us to launch this. So, not taking too much time, what is the essence of this community? And I'm going to read out exactly the way it occurred to me. The essence of this community is to enable individuals to move from darkness to light, from self fragmentation to self integration, from inner stories to our inner truth. So, in essence, it's self mastery at its core. From mastery of self to mastery when you deal with teams, when you engage with any teams you manage, to when you engage with organizational context or institutional context. So, going from self to teams to organization. And when this logo occurred to me about a week ago or a little more than that, this is how I saw it. The words Poornam written and the O is like an infinity symbol. One part of the O represents darkness and the other part represents light. The green is darkness and the yellow symbolically is light. Both are necessary for our evolution. That's how it stayed in me. And why stop with just my own evolution, which I've been engaged in for years now? Why can't we do it as a community? And we must do it as a community. And this is just not any community, it's a conscious community. And the gesture that came to me was this. So if we were all meeting together, we would be sitting in a circle. And that's the way, we hold each other, we are in a circle, and we look at each other. There is no hierarchy in that sense. All of us are evolving together. We're all at different stages, spaces, and yet we are together and one. That's the intention behind it. So I'm just going to pause. If anybody has anything to say, you could either type or unmute and share. Just a minute.
So, Santosh, this side, ma'am.
Yes, Santosh.
I really want to thank you for going that extra mile and building this product. Many people have knowledge, which is abundance, but to take that initiative and to share it, share it so abundantly is really quite courageous and gracious. So I really want to thank you, and I wish that we all will be more fulfilled, more enlightened, more aware of ourselves through this community.
That's it.
Greetings, Deepaji. This is Dr.
That's it.
Aurobindo. Happy to be connected with you and also as part of this. One thing that comes to my mind when I gone through the whole concept and everything else. I've been following you for some time on LinkedIn. Is what is called as collective consciousness. According to our Vedas and scriptures, it is called Samashti Buddhi, the collective consciousness of the universe. So it's a very good initiative from your side to pull in the rich, diverse cultural variety of minds with different levels of consciousness, so that we can harness from each other's consciousness and move the universe forward with our collective consciousness. So Samashti Buddhi, as what it is called in the Vedas. So that reminds me of that. Thank you very much. Happy to be associated.
Yes, Uma. I'm also reading the chats. A lot of aspirations to this community. May the space evolve. Yes, thank you. Thanks.
I loved something that is, the symbol that you explained, dark side and the lighter side, and how it is, integrated as one and whole. I love that concept, and it's a beautiful initiative. Looking forward to, getting integrated within this system. Thank you so much for bringing us all together.
Absolutely.
I'd like to thank
Absolutely.
Madam Deepa for.
I really love what Reshma said, being integrated in the system. And, when Reshma had reached out, she said, how can I contribute to the community? So it's not just my community, it's our community.
Hi, Deepa.
I agree.
Great initiative. Let the energy flow on. I think it's a beautiful way forward now.
Yes, indeed.
Congratulations and all the best.
Yes, to all of us. Awesome. So, the way I visualize this community, and I've been sharing and talking about it in LinkedIn also, I'm just going to, share the thought that's come to enable this integration of the dark and the light. It needs us to look at ourselves as whole, not just what we see of ourselves or the breakdowns we experience. And of course, this has been living in me for many years, again, coming from our Shastras, from our scriptures. So the whole aim is to look at ourselves from the body of the lens and see how can we master our body. Looking at ourselves from energy perspective, looking at ourselves from an emotional perspective, and looking at all the shades of our emotions, looking at ourselves from our thoughts perspective, and looking at our mindset, and looking at how are we as a leader in our purpose. And for all of this, what's most important is to install minute, tiny habits. Those are very important. So creating habits as a way of life. And coming from there is where all the initiatives that came to me is what I've shared. Looking at what can we do on Mondays, what can you do on Wednesdays, looking at what can we do on, on Fridays, inviting facilitators and masters to come and share their perspective with us, having discussions, having conversations. Now, let's say we practice something on a Monday. And if you have insights from there, or if you have breakdowns from there, can we have this community space as a safe space to share? This also means that it's our responsibility to not engage in good morning, good evening, good night, but really use this place, honor this space to share our inner and trust that each one of us will hold the other. So this space is of love, is of care, is of sharing, is of camaraderie, no hierarchy. And the whole idea is to share with love and only love. And that's what I hold, and that's what I like to share and stay with all of you in this space. So I'm just going to stop the share. Is there any question that's coming from me, any thought coming from here? Thank you. So good to see so many of you now. I can see all of you fully without the slide share. Yeah, so if there's nothing coming up for you, then I would like to formally invite Arul. So Arul Dev has been, I don't know, I mean, I have a formal introduction, but I think the personal one really speaks to me a lot. Somebody who I see is love in an embodied form. Somebody who really cares for the other, who really wants the other to heal and transform. Somebody who can just see and feel your and sense your energy. Somebody whom I love and somebody who loves me unconditionally. And yeah, I think I can go on and on about sharing about him. But for all of us who do not know him, Arul Dev is the founder and CEO of People First Consultants. I don't know much about it, but what I know is, I mean, there's so many things he does actually. This is a recruitment firm, but the way, I mean, because he and his team runs it, it is a recruitment firm with a difference. So that's, and I've been in HR for long, and I'm yet to find, those days, I've never found a firm who believes in inner work with the outer work of recruitment. So that's what I sensed when I heard him first, that saying that he is into this. He's the author of The Flame Within, and the first book is Into Great Depths of Your Being. He's a sadhana integral retreats facilitator. And these days I see so many of his retreats all around, and I am so happy, Arun, because so many can get in touch with your being, and take that benefit. So happy. He's also a guest faculty at IIT Madras. And I mean, these four things are just what he gave me, because he's so humble. And to make it easy for me, I just read only this much, but what I feel for him is far more than this. So, Arul, I would like to invite you to share your thoughts. I wanted to invite somebody who sits in my inner, as somebody who has created a community, who believes in a community, for whom community is not a doing, but it's in the depth of the being. And that's how I see Arul and Uma both lead this journey. So over to you, Arul. Thank you, Ma, for coming.
Thank you, Deepa. Such a joy. I just want to share a few things. So it's a very interesting time that this community is being launched, because right after the lockdown got over, or even during the lockdown, I was seeing that the inner work was getting easy. Number one. Number two, that people jumping into inner work was increasing. Okay, so I was very happy and joyful. But what I have actually been seeing for the last couple of weeks actually is something phenomenal. So maybe I'll put this in context. So there is something that's happening in the world. There's something each of us are doing in terms of our inner practices. There is this community and many other communities that are holding something. I just put these three in context. In my view, something phenomenal is occurring. Like, so for example, in the work that I share, we do deep body work. And I'm surprised to see that wherever I'm going, a bunch of people are taking it and they're going like far ahead of whatever we could even imagine and conceptualize. Okay. And it is also because we come together. Okay. So in the world, there is something collective that is pulling, like you have the technology shooting up, the inner consciousness, the dimension of being is really up on the high. That's number one, which means that there is either an invocation, a prayer, or an inner practice that would naturally kick in for people, because that is how you're going to tune into the frequency and evolve. And so for example, in the work that we do, when you do it individually, even for me, I'll get something. But when I come into the group and do it, like I have lots of small things that I do in groups. When we come together and group, it becomes easy for everybody. Okay. So to keep it very simple and short, I'm very happy this community has started. And one thing I know about Deepa, is right from the time I met her first. The symbol that you see is what I saw in her being, as embodied in her being, as vast as that. So for somebody to hold a community, you need real vastness, real universality, because people are going to come from many different aspects of doing their inner work, and everything has a place. So I'm very happy this one is started, and very happy to be a part of it. And that's it for now, Deepa. If you want me to focus on anything, let me know.
Would you like to share what could be some of the responsibilities that as a community we hold?
Yeah. So there are pluses and minuses of communities, right? I think we have all been part of it. As I think Deepa briefly shared, good morning, hello, are all good and fine. But if we keep the community away from that, it is really about, first is, as she said, holding each other's space. Now, we don't know who the people are. But even here, if you just try to look at the people and if you connect to each other, you're entering into a field. Okay. So this Poornam field will have a different flavor vis-a-vis another field. So it is our capacity to be able to tune into this field, number one. Number two, it is a dual journey, which means that if I want to participate fully in the community, I take something. She gave many different options. There's a lot of palette here. I can take body, I can take energy, I can take emotion. My way of understanding inner work is take one thing and do it for a certain period of time. Doing multiple things is generally doesn't give you the depth. Okay. So even if we pick up something for a week, a month, 6 months, I'm a guy who goes for 6 months to 4 years. That is how I go for it. So if we pick up something, we do it, we share, and we're also tuning into each other. Many a time, what I'm also seeing in communities, if a couple of people are cracking something, it becomes easy for the rest. So it is that tuning into the community, it is doing our own practices, sharing, learning from each other, which is what I think this would become a very meaningful space for all of us.
That's very interesting. Yeah. Yeah. When I was thinking about emotions and emotion Wednesdays, I was thinking of working on one emotion for a period of a month. Yes. And really look at all the shades of seeing it, acknowledging it, labeling it, looking at all the shades of that emotion. Because I've been doing this practice for a very long time, and every time I'm surprised, fear shows up this way also. And it's just amazing for me. So I think it makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
And I think end of the day, I think this is I think Deepa didn't share it like that, but I think that's the game is, can we all evolve together?
Yes.
If we are starting here, again, I'm sensing that something like a substance body work that I do, which is so-called people scratch their heads in the beginning. I'm now seeing this people are just getting it again so easily. Okay. So act as a community with different flavors that we have. Can we support each other to move from one level to the other? We're making a huge contribution to us, our families, our organizations, and to the whole world.
So beautiful.
Thank you so much, Deepa.
Yeah. Beautiful. So, anybody in this space, any questions do you have? Anything would you like to ask, Arul? Why only me and you, Arul?
Absolutely, yes. Yeah. Maybe just wants to chip in, come in, share, ask.
Hello, hi. My name is Aparna, and I have worked with Deepa before, and it's great to hear about you and to learn about your journey. So you mentioned something very interesting that you take about 6 months to 4 years to master something. Can you just share some of your inner work that that you've gone through in your own life? Perhaps that would help.
Yeah, absolutely, yes. See, the thing is, I was lucky because I don't read many books. I don't attend too many workshops. I take very few guides, but with each person, I take it to the hilt. Okay. So if you, I'm cutting away my earlier parts of the journey, but if you take the later part of even in the earlier, it used to be 8 years. Like I'll give you an example, watching the natural breath. I've done that as a single practice for 3 years. And for me, doing a practice is not just to be done with eyes closed. That will give only 10-20% benefit. I started doing these practices alongside my work. When I go to the restroom, when I take a walk, I'm just with my natural breath. And suddenly I found that profoundly the work, like if I get upset, I can move the natural breath. So to take one example, natural breath became a journey for 3 years. Now for 3.5 years, I'm just exploring how do you connect to the pure depth within the substance of the body. And I now do it while I work, while I do my client assignments, while I do coaching, etc. So even books, like if you see here, they are my books. Few books I take, I go in, I go in, I go in, I go in, and then every other book opens up like that. I'm not saying this is the path everybody has to follow, each one to their own. This method has helped me because I love depth. It is with depth that I come alive, and thus I use this process. Hope that clarifies, Aparna.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, just to reiterate, and I think Deepa would also keep reminding us, practice means not just eyes closed stuff. Practice means like so, for example, you take an emotion. Let's say you take an emotion called love. We are practicing it when, let us say, I have a difficult relationship, when I have a smooth relationship, be it work, be it family, be it a vendor I'm speaking to. That is what I've understood as the power of inner practices.
Wow. So true. Anyone else?
I don't have a question, but I wanted to share something. So as I'm listening to Arul speak, I'm so amazed, that the single practice of being with your natural breath for 3 years, I'm just contrasting it to the personal development industry right now, where there's a run for the shiniest new object and the newest workshop and the newest practice, whether it's Gestalt or NLP, people are just running. And when I heard the name Poornam, it really gives you a sense of completeness, that you're really going back to the center. And I sense a need for people to slow down. And I feel that's something that is happening. Arul was saying something so miraculous is happening. And I'm sensing this need now to just slow down from all the running around you are doing behind various things and just coming back to the simple basics. So I really sense that. And I think this community resonates that so beautifully. I just wanted to share that, and thank you for that insight, Arul. And all the best to you, Deepa. This is really a beautiful need for society. So I think it's really going to grow and help each person.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And what you're saying absolutely is something I sense. And this is something that I sense for myself. Being such a restless woman in my yesteryears, and you know me so well, to really wanting to literally taste the flavor of Thera, of stillness. And that has always been my seeking. And the moment I engaged in movement, for me, I found that Thera. So the coming to the center is my home. And that center can be in my space or in my inner. And that inner space is for me home. So which means I can be in a meeting and I can be in my center. And now I feel like even in this moment, I don't have a need to hurry. I don't have a need to speak. I'm not having any other agenda. It is just this present moment. So that feeling of being in the center is what I think that's what we want to create and create collectively. Because if only I grow, I still have my ecosystem and my environment does impact me. And that's very, very important for me. I think I'm not okay with just being with myself. I mean, that call for expansion is too strong. And I think these two life principles of center and periphery We all dance between the center and periphery. So I think, yeah, so beautiful. Arul, if you want to add something.
No, I think beautiful. Actually, just as I was just about to comment 2 minutes before, there is a certain vastness in this group itself. Actually, so I invite the people here to just connect to this to the collective here, and there is a certain vastness and infinity that I can sense. That a silence, a vastness, and infinity that the group is holding. So it's like in Tamil they say Osigaji, like you play cricket. Okay, so you get out and you ask, can you give me just one ball? I'll play and go. Sometimes community also is like Osigaji. It's like sometimes you just have to tune in, and the blessings just pose on you. Of course, we have to be authentic and do our part as well. So I think that's what I'm sensing. I'm just in the moment. Just a couple of minutes back, I was sensing that there is something very strong and palpable in the group. And it's like we got to get out of our head a little bit. And, slowing down also means coming into the present moment. So what's in the collective, what's in the field, what's moving into me, as an inspiration that I go back and act on. That's what I'm sensing. That's what is coming up for me.
Beautiful. Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Good evening. This is Mahalakshmi here.
Good evening.
I do not know Deepa Mahesh, but I saw this post on LinkedIn, and the minute I saw Arul's name, I just blindly signed up, and something very and it was only after signing up I read the whole post, and then I realized it was this community, and it was. I'm sure most of you would be able to believe and connect what I'm saying. I have been ardently seeking or wishing for some kind of this kind of a connectivity with people or souls in the similar practice on the same journey. And this is something which I've been seeking during my meditations, during my various practices for the last almost 3-4 years. I've been seriously seeking. And though I do conduct different meditations and meditation groups, I still have been seeking. And somehow when I got into this WhatsApp group only, I felt, there was a lot of peace settling in whenever I was just looking at the group as people were joining. And now after the meeting started, you spoke about, oscillating between the periphery and the core. And just now Arul mentioned the vastness. But what I felt very connected was it was something like coming home. And I do not know whether there are many here who also felt the same connect. And that was a very strong feeling when you were lighting the lamp. I felt it was like coming home was the connect which I felt. And I think that doesn't need any further explanations. So I'm thankful to every one of you, and thankful for seeing. I'm so grateful that I saw Arul's name in the LinkedIn post that made me connect here. And I'm really grateful for all of this.
Thank you, Mahalakshmi.
Thank you, Arul. Thank you, Deepa.
Thank you. And Deepa, could you hear her? It was very clear.
I couldn't hear her fully.
Okay.
But I could hear her in parts. I don't know why.
But you got the gist of it, right?
Yeah, I got that.
Right.
Yeah,
Thank you, Mahalakshmi.
And that itself is the community thing. When he forwarded it, and I'm just amazed. 40 of us are here today on the video, and I did not know when I posted how many will come. And I just had one connection. May the divine bring whoever is supposed to come out here. That's it. And one of the community members forwarded it to me when the number of members were 111. That's an angel number. So again, I was not tracking it. So it's the divine. And it could also be the divine in each one of us that made us come here. It could be, it is. Let's give it to it.
Deepa, it's always the divine which connects people. He who connects people, whom he connects, knows best why he connects those he connects.
Awesome. Yes, Farah. We're together.
I was just thinking of this whole journey we've been together, and this was waiting to happen a long time ago. Have experienced the depth, the expansiveness with you, and just so happy that today's the day. Thank you, Deepa, for envisioning this with each one of us.
Deepa, thank you so much for this invitation. I happen to see through LinkedIn, and I happen to be here, as you rightly mentioned, it's a divine intervention, because I could able to reconnect with Aruldev after 25 years.
Nice.
I started my career with Mr. Aruldev. As you rightly mentioned, the seating arrangements in the beginning, it was not hierarchical. It is always in the circle. Dev sits and all of us, we sit to.
Can't you?
Can't hear, if I understand. Yeah. Francis can't hear.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Maybe a power cut. And we could use these moments of silence to connect to our breath, as Arul had asked us to.
I would like to take this moment, Deepa, to thank you for making me a part of the community.
Yes,
it's beautiful knowing you and knowing the kind of energies and the kind of the way you get people together and help them find their own center. And I'm looking forward to many more sessions together. Take care. God bless you. Have a beautiful journey ahead.
The image that's coming to me right now is, imagine as if we are one organism and tuning our in-breath and out-breath.
Deepa, can I say something?
Yes, yes, yes.
Thank you very much
Like someone said that they did not know you, but they knew Arul. I did not know who Arul is, but I know you. So when I saw this post, on LinkedIn, I don't know why, but I instantly wanted to be a part of it. I had just attended one intention setting workshop with you. But as Arul was speaking about this breath, and I being a doctor, I realized so many times I keep telling the patient that you not being ill is just one part of the thing, but the true essence of being healthy comes from noticing that you have a body in the first place. And what Arul rightly said, the breath that anchors us, you're not even paying attention to it. So, and with all this conversation that was going on, there is quite a bit of noise. There are lots of kids in my house, but I was so oblivious to everything because I was one with the breath and this virtual community. I was so one with it. Like you said, one organism. And I'm so happy. I'm so grateful that it's a gift from the divine to be a part of community like this. So I just want to say thank you to both of you for making this happen.
Thank you so much. Gratitude.
So,
Hi, ma'am. If I can ask a question,
yes.
it just came to my mind that one of the way to be at peace with ourselves is to stop living people's expectation. What I realize is from childhood we are just living either society expectation or different expectations rather than living our own life and being with peace with ourselves. So how do we start that journey?
That's a big question. I think we can take it in the WhatsApp. Deepa, what do you suggest? Because that will take some time.
Yeah, that's true. Is there any cue you want to give to start?
I guess I'm being honest. I think both are important in my personal view. It's just that I'll put it very simple. We need to be centered. Okay? We need to be centered, and there are certain things that come out of our engagement with others. Also, it is also an integral part of living. It is just this balance of swinging too much to the other side or swinging too much to this side. There is a kind of a soft balance which keeps changing all the time. But this one takes a bit longer and maybe we'll explore it deeper. If the question is a profound one, we need to go into detail.
Yeah. And also one of the retreats that Arul facilitates, you could attend them.
Yeah.
Santosh.
Thanks so much. That point is quite helpful.
Yes.
Awesome. So what's coming to me is for any community to really share the first thing. I mean, the whole community rests on trust. And to enable trust to happen, we need to know each other. So in some way or the other, I will be, facilitating that over the next month because we are a large group and we will have many more joining in. So I'm going to allow the method to come to me, and any initiatives that I launch in the group is going to come from source or from divine. And that's how it will be launched. So for now, what's come to me is that tomorrow I will share a practice. And if we can observe that and implement that practice and keep sharing how it rests in us, how it lives in us, how it was difficult, easy, whichever way, so that we can allow conversations to happen. A lot of times trust can be built by I choosing to be open. So automatically that can happen too. So let's start this process and start engaging in the group, and trust that all answers are inside each one of us. So for any question that somebody may ask, it's not necessary that I answer. If anybody has an insight, let the conversation happen. And if there's something that you want specifically from me or Arun, you can tag us. But trust that all of us have answers. And all of us have questions as well, including us. So I will put my questions that are alive inside also in the group so that we truly grow as a community. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks to each one of you to be here. And thank you, Arul, once again, to be here.
Thank you for having us here.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you all. See you.
See
See
you
you
soon.
inside the group.
Bye-bye.
Thank
See
you.
you all.
Bye.
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 Thank you. Thank you, Chetan. Correct.